So when you said, so Sam had news for you, what was the news that he had then?
Just out of respect, I'm not going to mention it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't want to do anything wrong. But he did share the news with me, and then on at the same time, so I shared the news of my fatherhood journey with Sam, and then off camera, Sam shared his news with me, and that would be up to Sam to share that. I'm not going to do that up to him. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. So that, and but did that happen in the moment when you told Sam, and that was when you were in the apartments at that point, right?
Yeah.
That's
So
when it
what?
happened.
Yeah, so what actually happened is the executive producers pulled me into a room because someone had done a story about me being a father, and they pulled me into the room. They said, how do you feel about telling Sam, can you wait a little bit? I said, no, 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 you know what? It's been long enough. Like, put me back in there. I'll do it. So they quickly got a camera crew ready. And because obviously we're all on the same level, and there was only, I think, two teams of camera crew. So they got a camera crew ready within 15 minutes. And I actually was crying in the executive producer's room because it was just like I wanted to tell Sam in my own time and I wanted it to be my moment. And I felt like that got taken away from me. But so that's why when I walked into the room and I told Sam the news, they had the camera facing behind me because I was like clearly had been crying. But I thought, you know what? Let's rip the band-aid off. Let's tell him. And it was probably about time anyway, so it was fine. And yeah, I had to wait about 10 or 15 minutes in a room on my own. They put a microphone on me, and yeah, I just went straight into the room and told him the news. Yeah.
I mean, that's insane to hear all of the backstory behind it. Because on the show, if I remember correctly, I think the way they framed it was they were going to show you each other's pre-interview tapes in which you spoke about your journey with surrogacy. So he was going to find out anyway, which is how they framed it that you were then going to tell him because he was about to find out. But so that wasn't really the case then.
No, it was because it got leaked. Yeah, someone did an article about it. So, and I think what they would have, I don't know whether they had planned to show Sam that I was having children in that video. I'm not sure, but it's maths. I mean, you don't know.
Oh, I think they would have done if
Yeah,
they.
100%. Yeah, let's be real. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a crazy story. And I thought it was a really interesting moment. But also, Sam actually reacted really well to it. And he was very much, I was thinking he was going to not react that way because I thought, oh, they're building it up. They're putting all the dramatic music on it. But actually, he was kind of fine with it, right? Did that surprise
Yeah.
you?
Yeah. So on camera, Sam took it extremely well. And in that moment, he took it really well. And then obviously he shared his news with me when the camera crew left. And I supported him in that. Um, I'm not sure if you remember, but after the wedding night, Sam made a comment because there's a bit of an age gap between us. Like it's like 5 years or something. Not anything bad, but Sam mentioned that he wouldn't be ready to have children right away, and they really honed in on that. So they kind of built it up into something, yeah, to get. I mean, that's what gets viewers and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, yeah.
Yes, I remember that bit where it was when you were sat down you were asking about like something like, oh, what would be deal breakers and all that kind of stuff. And he said, well, I'm not ready to have a child tomorrow. And then they kind of zoomed in on your face. And obviously,
Yeah, yeah. And that would have been TV gold for them. Yeah, and that's just the way because I think Sam said, "Look, I'm not ready to have children anytime soon." I thought, oh, I'm kind of right in the middle of trying to have my own child, and I've just, and there's a donor daughter coming, so I'm not sure if that's the right word, but yeah, you know what I mean.
yes. So, sort of moving on with the story. So, obviously, you were this kind of like dream couple. There had been this like big, reveal of the baby or whatever, and it seemed fine. Now, I think the bit where it maybe started to go downhill, unfortunately, was there was the big moment. I think was when you were having the two of you were having a discussion with the experts.
And are you starting to think about life outside the experiment?
I think what it would probably look like is just like, say we go, well, everything ticks the boxes, we'd have a place in Sydney. So he'd go to Sydney. I would stay primarily at the farm, and then maybe we can float back and forth for a bit from Sydney to the farm.
And they were talking about what's your 10-year plan and things like that. And you said, well, Sam is gonna we can like go between each other. Sam can come move to my place. And Sam felt like you were almost dictating what's going to happen without consulting him because you hadn't spoken about that before. And that was really, I think, what drove the huge wedge between you for the rest of the season. Can you sort of talk a bit about how you felt that happened compared to what we saw on camera.
So what you saw on camera was correct. Mel, God bless her heart. She said to me, yeah, what does the future? Are you starting to think about the future after maths? And for me, Sam didn't really say anything. So I had been thinking the last couple of days. Sam had told me that he wanted to move to either the Gold Coast or Sydney. That is a part you didn't see on the show. You didn't see Sam talking about that, but he openly spoke about the fact that he wanted to get out of Adelaide and live in Sydney or the Gold Coast. And I have a place in Sydney. I've got an apartment above my gym that I own. And I thought to myself, well, this is cool. Maybe, just a thought, throwing it out there, maybe Sam could, go to my apartment. I could stay at the farm because I've got all my animals here and everything, and maybe we could commute. That's a possibility. And my response to Mel at that commitment ceremony was coming, and I stand by this today, came from a place of excitement. It came from a place of joy, and it came from a place of me just thinking about, this could possibly work. And it didn't have to happen right then. Like, I would have been fine if Sam and I, let's say we worked out, if Sam and I did long distance for 6 months, 8 months, whatever. And then once we knew that this is really going to work in the real world, that's something that could have happened. Or he didn't even have to live in my place. He could have gotten his own, but whatever. But the show kind of made it out like perhaps maybe that was like me going, this is what's going to happen, blah, blah, blah. It was literally just a nice thought that I had, and I threw it out there, and I feel like I kind of got grilled for it.
Yeah, because that was really the moment when I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the whole show kind of eventually presented that you were almost seen as more like the villain of the two, and then whereas Sam was not. I'm not saying whether that's true or not. I'm just saying that's the perception of it.
Yeah.
So that from then on, I think it started to become clear that Sam was not happy at you and felt like you weren't taking responsibility for dictating what was going to happen, and like as if you weren't listening to anything he said, and then you felt like he was effectively overreacting and you'd already apologized but he wasn't accepting the apology. Then there came the dinner party where he brought it up in front of everyone and you obviously weren't very happy, and there was that very awkward ride in the taxi on the way there which
Oh, man.
Can you talk a bit about, like, again, how you felt going into that, but also was there stuff that we didn't see that would have contextualized that anymore, or was that an accurate representation?
Okay, so when all this happened, Sam, brought it up with me, and I said to him, look, I'm sorry. I didn't mean for it to come across that way. It was just a thought. This is not concrete. This was just me thinking out aloud. Maybe I shouldn't have, maybe I should have. There was a lot of other cast members as well that I spoke to, and they said, Chris, that is so cute. That's so lovely that you're actually thinking about life outside the experiment. But Sam didn't feel the same way. He felt like, I was perhaps making plans without consulting him. That wasn't it at all. And yeah, so obviously we had the chat, and I did get a bit defensive, and that's something that I've done so much work on coming off the show, and I'm a completely different person now. So yes, I could have, been a bit more sensitive talking to Sam, but also on the flip side, I've got people saying to me, no, that's bloody adorable. I would love for someone to come up with that. So it's kind of like, well, was I being too defensive or was I being cute? It's like, well, I don't know. So yeah, we were getting ready for the dinner party that night, and I had actually come back to the farm, and I had stayed here because the dinner party was on a Monday, and I had come to the farm for 2 or 3 days just to clear my head. And Sam went off and visited his family, so we had some time apart. We came back together on Monday. We were getting ready for the dinner party, and Sam was being so weird. You could cut the tension with a knife in the apartment room. And I said to him, "What's wrong? Are you okay?" And he goes, "Nothing. I'm feeling sick." And I yelled out to the producers. I go, "Guys, he's feeling sick. Can someone get him like some help, or can we do anything?" And he goes, "No, no, no, it's fine. I'm just feeling sick." And I was like, "What is going on? This is so weird." We get ready. We jump into the Uber. It was so awkward in the Uber. on the ride to the dinner party, and that Uber ride probably is about 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and he did not say a word to me. And I continually asked him what was wrong, and he wouldn't answer me. He just said, nothing, I'm feeling sick. And I'm like, oh my God, what's happening? So then 5 minutes before we get into the building, a producer jumps in the front seat. So they must have known that Sam was, or maybe they told Sam to bring it up at the dinner party. The producer jumped in the front seat. I'm sitting in the back going, what's going on? We usually just get dropped off. And then that's when they took us around the block, and that's when Sam dropped the news that he was going to bring it up in front of everybody.